Well, welcome back to the next day, and happy Mother's Day, especially to all you single moms who watch my channel. So we'll give a quick recap of what we did yesterday. We went to the salvage yard and got a replacement CV axle. Unfortunately, it had a ripped boot on the outer part of the CV axle, and it did not have a tone ring on the outer cup of the CV axle. So the broken CV axle actually had a good outer cup and outer tone ring and outer boot. So we took the boot from the broken CV axle, which was good, and we also took the tone ring off. Unfortunately, when we went to put the tone ring on the salvaged unit, it was much too loose. So we then decided to take the outer cup of the removed CV axle and put it on the salvaged CV axle. And so we had to clean it all up. We had to clean the tone ring up. We had to shim the tone ring because it was still too loose fitting once we removed all the rust. And then we had to repack that CV axle outer part and put it all back together, which we did. So what we have now is a completely functional and sealed CV axle with the tone ring. So at this point, all we have to do is put it all back together. I'll bring you on underneath the car and show you how it all goes together, but you should know this at this point. The only different part about this assembly is we got this carrier bearing in the middle here, and well, this isn't the part that's going in. Yeah, that's right, we even painted the carrier bearing clamp part or bracket, so it even looks nice. There's no circlip on the end of this axle because it's held in place by this carrier bearing clamp or bracket, and so it actually goes in easier than the driver's side because the driver's side does have that little clamp. Boom! There it is. So on this one, you can see this has a little circlip that has to be pushed in that helps it be retained. And well, as much as we tried to clean up the tone ring on this, you could still see it's rusted. I do have this little plastic boot that came off this side actually, but there was none on this side. So we're gonna pack one side with super amount of grease, and I think it's gonna be this side. And that's it, let's just get to it. Send it through here. There we go. Let's get under there and tighten this up. I think this is almost in there. Here's the clamp. Let's flip this around. There we go. That needed to be flipped around. It would go so much easier. Can't reach in there, it's too big and fat, so because now we're gonna have to just do an extended cut. There we go. So this is about 55 torquillators. Click, click, done. Turning nicely, so let's get back out there and grease the end of the other side. So we got some just general purpose chassis grease, nothing special. Put some on the splines. There we go. All right. I don't want to cut the boot open after all that work. Let's just set that aside for a minute. Let's try and get the axle in there first. There we go. Now we got a little more room with this. There. And what we'll do is drive in the bolt. Put a dab of red, which is the permanent strength. 14 millimeters. All right, so 18 on the bolt and 21 on the nut. So that's what we got going on here. So we're gonna try and put this ABS sensor back in before we put the disc on because it'll be a lot easier. Got a little 8 millimeter bolt. That's that, little snugness. We took the time to look it up. And Volvo really thinks highly of themselves, especially with these XC cross country. The torque spec is not 75, it's not 80. No, that's too pedestrian. It's 77 and then an additional 90 degrees. Because this is, you know, as precision as the engine is. No, it's not. Performance tool. Super calibrated, super accurate. Right there on the screen, 77.00. Yeah, right. I doubt these things were ever even calibrated. Anyway, let's see how far we get. I've loosened them. Okay, well, that's just spinning. Oh, there it is. Let's do the bottom one. And that's 77. Come on. Okay, come on. Doesn't want to get off. All right, what are we doing? What are we doing? That was weird. All right, now let's do the 90 part. Yeah. Okay. We got to get this exactly 90. So when it's pointing down, we will have achieved 90. I don't know if this is spinning. Yeah, it's spinning all right. Oh. All right, we're there. Yeah, we're not even getting 20 or 30 degrees. This is just, you know, it was spinning. It's just spinning. Yeah, we got maybe 15, if that. And now we got a stuck wrench. Great. There we go. Close enough. Just set yours to 75 or 80. You'll be good. God. Volvo. Ooh, it's a Volvo. Ooh. Let's go to the other side and put the other axle in, which should be a lot easier. So this guy has a little circlip on the end. I don't know if you could see that. And it has to get engaged into the transmission, and it requires a good quick and straight. And of course, this is all at an angle because, you know, it is. And it's not getting in there. Come on. And I can't hammer it because then I'll damage the boot. Because this isn't even a love tap. This is just pitiful. Hey, I think I got it. Yes, I got it. Good. Now, let's push this down. let's get some grease in here first. Oh, shoot. There's the plastic cup is in here. The plastic cup is in here still. So we're gonna have to take apart the other one and put the plastic one on that side. Okay, so let's take this out of the way. Okay, somebody's done. I think that was the GoPro. There we go. It's through. Let's put a little dab. Go ahead and put it in here. I didn't say already, it's 14. Got tapered rod ready. There we go. There we go. All right, so the problem here is someone was in this suspension already, because you'll notice these two bolts are different. This is the proper bolt. This was just something I found. So I'm going to go ahead and use Loctite Blue on the original bolt, and I'm going to use Loctite Red. Actually, I should probably use Loctite Red on both of them. Loctite Red on this aftermarket bolt. Oh, great. I'm just lather it right on because it's shorter and I don't trust it. So this is my light duty impact, but there we go. Hey, that worked like a charm. But you'll notice that it doesn't go through all the way. Let's just put some on. That's perfect. Capillary action, yay. Let's get 22 on this side, and let's get 21 on this side. There we go. And that's all the Torx. The nut is 21. The bolt should be 18, right? And it is. It's 18. So, all the Torx done. This is a 14. Wow, that's really on there. Okay. All right, well, let's take you in for a closer look. We got a 14 and we just torqued it all the way. You got an 18 on the head side, 22 for the aftermarket, and a 21 on the nuts. So those are all tight and maximal. Now we could go ahead and get this guy down in there after we clean it up. And then we could start with the brakes. But let's get this guy in, and before we do the brakes, we're gonna start her up. All right, the true test. Are we ready? Let's engage. Uh-oh, I don't have any brakes and I just popped the freaking, I just pressed the brake. And you shouldn't do that when you don't have any of the discs and the pads on, because you'll just pop the piston out. Hopefully there wasn't enough pressure in the system to do any damage. We gotta put the brakes on. We can't get it out of the gear without putting the brakes on, so this is gonna have to wait. Fudgety fudge, fudge, fudge. All right, so finally we're ready to go and see if it's a transmission problem or if it was just that broken axle. Went all the way around, all new pads, all new rotors, all new parking brake pads, and we did a complete freshen up for the front and rear suspension, which means I needle scaled, wire wheeled, and painted it with black chassis paint. let's just take a look, because this is about as shiny as it's ever gonna be. So we have the missing bracket, so we use the tie wrap, and everything else is in place, torqued properly, looks nice. And here as well. Ah, forgot to cut the tie wrap. Oh well. And we're still having trouble with adjusting this brake lever thing. It's not coming out. The cable's not coming out far enough. Oh, we also see our freshened up bracket. Now dirt gets way behind there and starts rusting it out. So we took it up and freshened it up. So here, since I can't put the disc on yet, I put the pads in and put the spacer, so when I step on the brake, it's not gonna pop that piston. Fortunately, when I did it the first time, there wasn't enough pressure in the system, so that it didn't move those pistons at all. I got lucky. All right, so here we go. We're gonna start her up. Press the brake. Ooh. Oh, we're getting pressure now. There we go. We're going to put it in the reverse. Uh-oh. Something's not right. Huh. Something isn't right. It's all jerking around. Maybe something did get wonky. Oh boy. Well, that's turning. Uh-oh. Looks like the front CV axle part busted. Well, the rears are turning. That's not turning. Huh. Well, I don't know what happened, but oh, I know what happened. Look it, there it is. This stupid gear clamp caught and twisted that boot all around. Well, well, well. Out it comes. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know, the boot may not be ripped, it might be ripped. We'll pull it out. Great. Oh well. Don't let that be a lesson to you all. Don't use those crappy gear clamps. I didn't want to use it, but they don't sell those clamps, the proper clamps at the store. Take it apart and see what kind of carnage we got. Alright, so I think I figured out what was going on. So here it just disassembled. I think this wasn't seated all the way. I don't think this clip was catching, because this part was, the axle got free of the cup. The good news is that nothing happened to the bellows here. It's intact. I don't think. We're gonna have to figure out why this didn't seat. Remember me not being so confident that it fully seated? Well, I thought it did. but either it pulled out or it didn't quite catch it. So I don't know if this cup and that, because remember this was the original. Well, this was from the salvage. This belongs with this originally. And this one came from that. So these two shafts should be identical, but they may not be. Let's put them side by side. Let's just get this guy off. These look identical. So that's good. That means these two, the inner part of it, should be identical as well. So that means just this didn't seat all the way in. And it's not broken, it's still intact. And everything else looks okay too. So it's just full of grease. Luckily we weren't going highway speeds when it just came apart. I guess we're gonna have to just try again. This guy is still intact, so that nothing happened. Nothing serious happened anyway. So we're gonna put this in a vise and see if we can hammer this back on. I mean, it's all full of grease, but it still looks. I mean, there was no metal shavings or anything of the sort coming out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm going to call it for today. It's not a high note to end on, but I'm getting tired and it's almost 6 o'clock. It's dinner time. Sun's going down. I got to pack everything up, and it's just there's a lot to tweak here. We got to get the axle in and put the brakes back on, and I noticed the drinker side rear wasn't rotating. And we got some brake issues on the driver's side rear with the parking brake not fully releasing. So there's going to be another day for me on this. Yep. Stay tuned.